And welcome back to part 14 of Tomb Raider 2013, where today we're going to go investigate that research base, but not before doing a little bit of cleanup. So back to Shantytown we go for one more tomb. Once you're in Shantytown, you want to kind of lean-ish towards the right. I can't remember exactly where it is, but I know it's around here somewhere. But now I've got that upgrade that shows me where they are. Look, you can see there's a tomb hint there. So I just need to get over there, so I'll probably be checking my map every now and then. Okay, Lara doesn't want to jump that, never mind. I saw the barbed wire, but I just kind of hoped that she'd be able to get over it, but I guess not. Wow, I did not travel that far across the map. I was hoping I'd be a bit closer to it by now. What about here? Still no? Wow, is it like right against the back wall? Oh, there is someone here. The amount of enemies that are in Shantytown lowers drastically after you've done the main adventure. Oh, this is the team. I heard the ding. They're just enemies who are left here, so I need to deal with them. Well, they're dealt with now, but you know what I meant.
Another sacrifice. My God, what's driven them to this?
I think that voice line would have made more sense if we hadn't learned what we've already learned about them wanting to make a sacrifice to their queen and all that rubbish. Firebow, thank you. Ow. Ow. Stop burning, Lara. Yeah, the signs say the tomb's in here. So I'm just going to burn everything to do with cloth until an entrance reveals itself. Because it has to be in here. Oh, well, there's an arrow. Huh. Oh. There's bodies to loot as well. I didn't realise these guys were here. But yeah, that makes sense. Fair enough. And then that's our way into this tomb, I suppose. Let's hope this one takes longer than 20 seconds, eh? As we go through another load screen. I was half tempted to edit some of these out, but they are, you know, part of the path, I suppose. So I suppose I kind of have to show them, really, you know. On the off chance that you get lost on a linear line across through here. I'll probably cut out on the way back though, because I'm just going to be going back to the camp and then going back towards the base. We're just detouring quite heavily. Is this safe? Oh, there's a wall to grab onto so we can get back up, so it isn't quite the drop I thought it was. So we probably could have just jumped down it. Lara's resilience to fall damage is pretty interesting in this game. It just goes from 0 to 100, but that point is quite far on. The Well of Tears. Well, I'm guessing by all of these weights around, we've got to weigh that down. Yeah. Weigh it down to the... I think I already know what this one's going to be. It's going to be like, weigh it down to the ground, hop on it, and then throw all the weights off so it will lift us up to the ledge. Ow. No.
This was once a sacred place.
Dude, the curse of pick up and set at camp being the same button, I suppose. Oh well, I already picked this one up, so fucking have it. So now, really, throw all these out and it might lift us up. Whoa, Lara, what on... Did you see that? What on earth happened to Lara? Is it going to lift us up? No. But it'll probably lift as we get off. Yes, it will. Alright, so if we can just weigh this down, run around, get on top, we can meet it as it gets there and be up onto that ledge. And I bet that's the whole puzzle, because that's as creative as they were prepared to be. Oh wow, what a surprise. Seriously, when they're going to be this small, it makes me wonder why they bothered. Other than keeping up the namesake, even though this is like the least Tomb Raider to ever exist. Because all the ones after it do a little bit more Tomb Raiding, and all the ones before it are, well, you know, actual Tomb Raider games. But still. That one was over before we knew it, so I'm going to cut back until when we get back to the beach and start heading towards that base. Right, back at the camp at the shipwreck beach. Our next objective is going like in this sort of direction. which is more heading more inland but towards your left kind of thing. Like if you look towards the water, look opposite from the water and then turn to your left. But your survival instinct will highlight it anyway, so I don't really know why I'm directing you. Ow, what the fuck? That thing just like barged me as it came past. I think it did. Bastard. Oh, I think I've got fire bullets on by accident. I need to get that off. No, I didn't. I had normal bullets. Then what was with that explosion effect? Well, I'm guessing by the fact we got an indicator on this, we got to drop the lift. I've got a feeling because that just broke off, it's not just going to come down nicely. Yep. Oh well. It makes me wonder when the last time proper civilization was here, if a working, well, once working lift was here. And you can see the wires going up the cliff wall. Lara, thank you. Oh, she just landed on the ledge. I didn't realise that had happened. I mean, kudos to the devs for actually like realising that people might stop on there, so making it so you can actually land on it. Because a lot of other devs would just make climbing wall with a random block of rock in the middle. We'll make it so you slide off the rock, even if it's the flattest fucking thing ever. I'm going to quickly check over here though before we venture off. Yeah, there is a box over here. Come on, something interesting. 65 salvage is not too bad. Especially because I'm going to be taking pretty much every opportunity I can moving forward to get salvage. Because I want to kind of be kitted out on everything before the final boss. Like I'd like to be able to show everything I have at their full potential before I finish. More so than when I eventually get to Rise and Shadow, which won't be soon, it will be in a while. But when I eventually do get to them, we can have a little bit of a comparison of how they handled the upgrade to weaponry in the future games compared to the older ones of this reboot trilogy. So it is something that I prefer. It's more Lara's personal abilities, like the ones that you spend the skill points on, that I think get a tremendous upgrade as the games go on. It's like some of the redundant or just unnecessary ones are done away with, whilst you get some real killer ones. Like I keep on mentioning one of my favourite ones that is either in Rise or Shadow, but I know it's not in this one, is like an auto loot, where if you kill enemies in a physical attack, they will be looted as they die. Instead of what we have now, well, we have in this game, where you still have to loot them even if you stealth kill them. You still have to go up to them and press square. And it's just a little quality of life upgrade where you can keep a move on without worrying about what you've left behind. Can this come any closer, or have I just got to leap for it? Alright, well, I'll wait for it to swing a little closer and then I'll make the leap. Got it. And I'm guessing it's going to be the same for this one, because that one's way too far away to reach on its own. And it's higher. I was surprised we went to that one. I would have thought we would have pulled ourselves to it. Okay, my right ear just got a lot of noise then. Listening to the headphones. I wonder what that was about. What was specifically to my right but not my left? I heard all that. I mean, it's all cool to have surround sound, and I've got like a proper headset to be able to make the most of it. But when you notice like weird things from sound coming from a weird direction, or just a sound that comes from a direction that makes no sense, you do kind of sit there and go, what? Where'd that come from? But I wonder how much that will actually go through on headphone wearers, people watching this. But there was definitely a lot of noise that just met my right ear and just completely avoided my left. But we've got our last bow part, so our bow is now completely finished. In fact, most of our weapons are completely finished now, to be fair. I just haven't checked them in a while. Because all the rest stop at gold or tier 3, but the bows only want to go to tier 4 because you get given an extra bow throughout it. So it has to like make it so it has an extra tier just because the plot gives you an extra one. And I guess because they want to really hard push that the bow is her new main weapon, a new signature weapon, even though it makes zero goddamn sense for it to be a signature weapon, and it's a completely boring weapon because of how many other games had it. But oh well, that's how they pushed it. So they pushed this for all 3 games of the trilogy, but they just get a little bit better as it goes on, of just making Lara a bit smarter about it. Because I'll never forgive her for that section earlier on when we went to first save Sam. when there was a room up, like armed to the teeth with people, and instead of walking in with her machine gun, she walked in with a fucking bow and arrow. Like, what was you expecting to get accomplished there, Lara? You was only ever going to get one person at most. Whilst a machine gun, you could have scared them a lot more because they wouldn't have had a clue how many people you could have got before it went down. But I digress. We're approaching the research base now, so I think we're actually like on the edge of the zone now, like of where it counts. Like the collectibles for Shipwreck Beach aren't here anymore. Yeah, I think it's after we drop down from, well, not drop down, once we do this bit. I'll take this down first before we go across, because then it'll just save the trouble once we're there. So I think this is essentially like the bar between the lands. Because I don't think there's anything of interest. It's more just like general loot, but actual collectibles, no, we need to actually enter the next area properly now. As a motorbike just whizzes past, I don't know how well that would come up on the mic, hopefully not too bad. Yeah, we're in the research base now. Once you drop past this, you're in it effectively, because you can't get back up for some weird reason. Even though you'd think with how things are placed you could, because you know there's water below you, so you can just jump. But unfortunately not. And there aren't that many collectibles in here, but because this is the last, like, proper area of the game that has collectibles, there is another area that comes after that also has collectibles, but it's also, like, kind of beyond the point of no return, so they have all of them kind of in a straight line, like it's difficult to miss them. But because it's the last proper area, they really well hide everything. Like, this is going to be the one that I'll probably just follow a walkthrough to cut them to save time with, because my goodness, do they hide them as you go in this one. Oh, if you want a better advantage to shoot at the two guys around the corner, the best thing I can recommend is just open this door. You're supposed to use it to get a collectible, but I'll probably just come back for it because it'll be a bit easier. But so you know you can just reach around from here and get him. And then reach around the other way and get him. That's what I mean, it's very... Like, the longer method, if you want to wait, is wait for the other dude to come all the way around, and he'll eventually put his back to you, take him out, and then squeeze around the door in front of you, around to the other dude, because he's kind of looking at the starting point, so you can just get him from there.
Then the screaming started. Was it us or them? That horrible sound. It still rings in my head.
And by the sounds of it, the Japanese soldiers that first inhabited here all met a really, really grisly end. They went towards the center of the island and couldn't find anything, and just got murdered by the Oni. Which we've seen the Oni a couple times, but we've yet to encounter them properly, and we won't do really until the final area.
Osaka is in command now. We are leaving the base, but not the island.
We're heading inland to the monastery. There is no other way. We must follow the Oni, all of us. If we can't control the star, we must destroy it. But I know we are going to die.
If we can't control the star, we must destroy it.
Like, you kind of get the impression long before you need to be told what happened to them. I've already stated it. They clearly didn't make it. The main evidence being that because the way it worked, you had Queen Himiko and her people who were here first. Whatever happened between them left this curse on the island, probably made by Queen Himiko for whatever reason. After that, it was ancient Japanese soldiers who got here second, and they were the first ones to discover the hell that is being in this space, suffered, tried to find a way out, and just met a grisly end. The third round was during the Second World War. German soldiers ended up here, and they documented what happened, and it wasn't pretty. By the sounds of it, they didn't get very far either, but they did put a lot of research in and find a lot of things that suggested how they were going to get a way out in the first place, which is what we're here in this research base to investigate in the first place. The next group of people to be here presumably was Matthias and the people with him, to which they kind of lost their minds, made their own weird cult known as the Solari, with the next group of people that arrived, assuming there weren't more like just off-cut survivors as they went on, the main group that followed on were Lara and the Endurance crew. Which I guess makes sense. If there'd been more people as they had gone along kind of thing, it would make sense. Like, when we first got captured, the guy was trying to say, no wait, don't run away, I'm trying to help you. Which at first sounded absolutely crazy because it looked like he was trying to kill us. But it makes sense in their context if he was trying to recruit us for the Solari, when it's already been implied that the process is quite brutal for Solari to make sure that everyone kind of brothers up, essentially. That everyone remains together. So you go through like tough tests and courses to make sure everyone is together. That everyone is in the same mindset. So in his mind he would be. For this section, these 4 gears in the corner, you need to break all 4 of them, and where the lift is will affect how available they are. But you need to break all 4 of them so the lift as a whole will just drop through the grate it's currently stuck on so we can get down below. As you can see, they're already kind of slightly busted, but you've got to actually just get in there and break it through this way. And there's your biggest hint of what to do if you hadn't worked it out yet. But by breaking that one, it will lower it enough that you can just slip through here and then open the door from the other side. Because, you know, one-way doors is a thing. So now we've opened that, we've got an easier way of getting around. And now it's essentially of just changing the level that the lift is on to access different gears. I can't remember if there's like a specific order. Oh right, this is the we've got half of the GPSs, so this is your first warning or first hint of Trinity. It says command to operative, stop. Trinity is concerned. Acquisition of star phenomenon unacceptable. Sabotage of Axis operation imperative.
Stop.
So when you get 50% of the GPSs, you get that message, and once you've got all of them, you get the second one. I'll show off the second one later on. And I might even show it off with the first one again, just to sort of like show what they're doing. But it is another box to destroy a gear when we get up to it. But from here we can actually reach and destroy that, which will just save trouble later on, so I'd rather just break it now. And to be honest, this is the closest thing to like a Tomb Raider Legend styled puzzle room you're gonna get. Because with Legend and Underworld, you went to modern places as well as tombs. And like they had like outfitted some of the modern, like, or at least less, I say modern in the loosest sense of the word, but they had outfitted like these mechanical bases to function as the tombs you need them to be as you went. Alright, I think I knew what I needed to do with that lift. I kind of registered it as I went around, noticed that was fenced off. I was just going to go around, but no, you need to actually get to that bit that's fenced off. So we need to lower this again. And then when we bring it up, we need to land on it as it's going up, kind of thing, so we can jump through the gap to get around to the wall. Because yeah, we're not going to reach that, but we can lift the lift up to get around easier. Because I think it was more Legend that did this kind of thing with like the modern aesthetic. But I said it's because I just haven't played Underworld in a little while, because as much as I love the whole Legend trilogy, Underworld's the weakest of the trilogy. I'll play Legend, I'll play Anniversary, and then after that I'm like, yep, that'll do. More often than not. Because even though I enjoy Underworld, and if the Legend trilogy ever got like ported to current consoles, or if the PS5 still has share features and is completely backwards compatible as the rumours say, I'll definitely cover all 3 and talk about their strengths and weaknesses. But in a casual sense, I usually stop after Anniversary. And it's in the same way that if I ever did cover them, you'd know what ones I play the most. More so because I can 100% Anniversary and do it at a pretty quick pace off the back of my hand. I know where every single collectible is as I go. I know how every single puzzle works as I go. It's just part of like how much I've played it. Well, how much I used to play it. I don't play it as much now, but I still play it every now and then, and every time I go back to it, Sometimes I kind of surprise myself because I'm like, oh, I can't remember if that collectible is. There might be one over here, and then there is every single time. Like, it's like a subconscious thing. I know where they all are. But we can go up here and break this one as well. Which unfortunately isn't quite enough for it to fall down. You'd think with only one gear holding the whole thing up, the rest would just shatter. But no, we need to break all 4. So load this down to floor 3, and we'll work our way around. Yeah, we can get that easy. To break the last one, which will make the whole thing drop. And if you're wondering what happens if you break it on the lowest level, well, that's physically impossible, because you have to destroy the first gear, that's the only one on the bottom level, for it to lower enough for you to get elsewhere.
I think that did the trick.
But I can imagine they would make it... Oh, this might be dangerous. This is not what I meant to do, Lara. This might hurt. Oh, she can just grab that and just negate all damage. Never mind. We could open this door as well in case you want an easier time round, even though it really doesn't matter. Oh, but they heard that lift drop. Jesus. Now we've got the last upgrade on the bow. Look how long this thing is. Like, I know bows by normal are supposed to be quite lengthy things, but this thing is literally the size of Lara. Got him. Seriously, look at the thing. It's like a giant, like, spider leg across her back.
Were these gifts for the ancient rulers of Young?
Oh, that's a cool helmet.
Or was there some kind of battle here?
I've got a feeling it's more of the latter. It does look more like a helmet than a crown. And the collectibles for this place, there's like these little like doll things that are like hanging from strings. Like, think when we was getting the destroying the dream catchers, but imagine something that looks kind of like that, but it's not quite. Oh, I can jump this. I was kind of, as I was looking at it, and I was like, And we got a map, so finding all the collectibles later on won't be a trouble. Sweet. Well, for me, as I'll be doing it off screen, so you won't have to deal with it. I was half tempted to make it a montage, but looking at what I've got to do anyway, I'm like, even that won't be interesting.
Alright.
But as you can tell by all the cover, shit's gonna kick off after the cutscene coming up, so be ready for that as we... Well, I'm gonna quickly look around and see if there's anything of interest. I doubt it, but... No, it looks like there's nothing, so let's just head up. As we get an interesting cutscene explaining some things we need to know.
These figures. Warriors. They're in Himiko's tomb. They protected her. And is this you? Were you some kind of general? You committed seppuku. But why? Oh, it's beautiful. It's still sharp.
I have failed, my queen. The ritual was corrupted. The priestess knew only death could save her and took her own life. Now the first and last queen lives a half-life, a soul in a decaying body. Her rage became the storms and will not stop while her soul is tied to this earth. My storm guard are sworn to protect her. They must continue, but I cannot.
The soul is trapped in a decaying body. That's what's causing the storms. To stop the storms, we need to destroy the body in the ritual chamber. How the hell am I going to convince the others?
And now we know exactly why everything has happened the way it has. Kind of. Queen Himiko at some point or another became trapped in a body. Her soul continued on in her body, and it caused her this infinite rage that she couldn't carry on to the next life because she's trapped in this body. Which would make sense then why Matthias is so desperate to keep a hold of this descendant of Himiko, that being Sam. Because if he has Sam, then Himiko's soul can be transferred, which would mean that she's no longer trapped in a dead body, kind of thing. She's no longer trapped in a corpse. She can carry on her reign, and so they believe that as payments, essentially, the Queen would let them go, which is a bit of an unrealistic assumption, but yeah. But in the same vein, if Queen Himiko can be lured out and then her soul can be destroyed, that would also set us free because she wouldn't be around for her wrath to continue. Also, once you've dealt with enough enemies, some rocks will fall over it and break some of the barricading so you can climb up. But you don't, as much as the environment will make you think there's a time limit, there isn't, so just kind of work your way through them for a sec. Where'd that guy down here that guy die? I was going to try and loot him, but he's just vanished. Oh, like that. Didn't get very many shotgun bullets out of that. I got assault rifle bullets and an arrow by looting them. But this section isn't big, so we're already like exiting the research base. The main front of it's done. We have a fancy slow motion dodge, like jump, just in case, you know, you didn't notice. But then at this late in the game, you should have a keen eye for that sort of stuff anyway, so the slow motion felt unnecessary. That's the thing, like, with the reboot trilogy, although they do get better with it, there's a lot of moments throughout the whole reboot trilogy where they kind of assume you're an idiot. And it's like, if you do it right at the start of the adventure, for the most part people will let you off, unless it's like blatantly idiot. Like if you make us sit through an arrow tutorial, we will be annoyed by the time we get to the end of it. Like it really pissed me off when Pokemon Sun and Moon did that. Because it's just like the entire first quarter of the game is just a tutorial, and it's like, well no, make it optional. Don't assume that everyone is an absolute idiot. But this game more has the issue of, it doesn't necessarily have like overdone tutorials. Like I think the tutorials in this is handled quite well. Like I complimented how this game opens up a lot, because I like the fact that instead of teaching you to move, they make you swing left to right, trapped in a thing, so you have to actually adjust as you go to get through it. I thought that was quite clever, because then it's teaching you, oh, you can move by doing that as you get free. It doesn't have to sit you down and go through everything. But then later on, like, you know, much later in the game, when you've definitely gone through a lot of things, and so if you're playing along, have definitely learnt a lot, so know what to look for and what to avoid, suddenly it's then trying to be easy on you, and trying to say, oh, so now remember, you gotta jump here, and you're like, what? Why are you telling me this? But as you get your way down, you can hear there's a lot of gunfight. The troops approached as we got here, and people got hurt. But we got another cutscene.
Here.
Thanks. Seriously, I thought that was it for me.
There's no sign of him.
What happened?
During the attack, Whitman took Sam and they disappeared.
He's taken her back to Matthias.
We should have listened. I should have listened.
So what's our next move?
The boat's fixed now. We should get help.
I bet they thought that too.
Look, you were right about Whitman,
You've
but...
seen the storms. They target any craft that comes near. There were scientists here during World War II, and they believed the storms were controlled by something in a ritual chamber near the monastery. Look, I don't have all the answers, but Sam being taken, I know it's linked. And if we try to leave here without understanding why, then we'll all die. Just like the pilots. Just like Roth.
Look, whatever's happening here, Lara deserves a shot.
We can't go back to their stronghold. It'd be suicide.
They won't take her there. They'll take her to the ritual chamber. We can use this inlet to get closer. Look, I know you want to get home to your daughter. Believe me, I do. But the fight's not over yet. I'm not asking you to believe, Reyes. I'm asking you to trust.
Okay. Let's get this thing in the water.
And that's essentially your endgame setup.
Whenever you're ready to
When
go.
you're ready to go into endgame, jump onto the boat and you will head towards it. But that is not what we're going to do. Well, not what I'm going to do. This is my point that I've been alluding to, where I'm going to save here, end the part, and then off screen get every collectible. So that means hunting down the rest of the documents, the rest of the relics, the rest of the GPSs, and then going through every single area's individual collectible, the challenge collectibles as they're called. Throughout it, any salvage or XX experience points that I build up, I will not be spending until I am next recording. I will be recording, however, the last tomb that we're missing, which is up near where Roth was buried. And then after all that, we'll then be pushing towards the end game. That's how much left we've got. But until then, and this might be a little while, but until then, you guys take care now.